Alright, I'm back with another quick unboxing and review. This is XesRay Studios, Combatants Fight for Glory, Kasos, the Crusher. Packaging here, a little bit of bio and background on the side and the back. Some really nice artwork of the figure, or photo I should say. Same on the side here, and in the front window as he comes around, we can see that massive figure packaged with a couple accessories. The figure's almost too big to fit in frame here. I'm pretty excited to take a look at this. Alright, and here we have Kasos the Crusher out of the box in his clamshell packaging here. First thing I'll take a look at is this bag of accessories. Pop this open real quick. This looks like maybe a change. The first few videos I saw when this guy was new, when he came out, I didn't see these being included in any of the videos. But I guess at some point they switched, maybe, or maybe I just always missed them. But they added like these cloven feet, the hooved feet there to replace his feet at the ankle joint. So that's a pretty cool option I'm excited to look at. We also got this axe here. So with all the like kind of forge marks or blacksmithing marks in there. Very nice texturing, very nice paint application. That is a cool weapon. I guess it better be for the only accessory that comes with him, right? But he's impressive on his own. I have a feeling like he doesn't need a whole lot of weapons to get what he wants to get in life. But this is neat. Let's look at some hands here. Looks like we got some closed hands on the figure in the box. Looks like we have a set of fisted hands here. Left and right. Kind of some painting, some highlighting done on them. Looks like we have a set of open hands here. Kind of open gesturing hands. Same thing. Some highlights, some paint picked up in there. Alright, and the figure himself. Alright. This guy is heavy. He's no joke. It's like picking up a Diamond Select Juggernaut. I might have to look at him as a comparison later. He's got an articulated jaw. Saw that. I think that is super cool. I think it's one way around having like two head sculpts with just two different mouth expressions. Just kind of articulate the jaw. These little pieces of armor or weapons or whatever they might be on the horns are just kind of slip fit there. Ooh, that's some cool detailing in that shoulder armor. That wrist or forearm armor. Man, this is nice. Hoping some of these details are coming through on the camera, but the paint work and the sculpt work is awesome. I mean, you can just see like little vein work, the striations in the muscle even. The paint really helps to pick that up. This belt, that skull, that is cool. Some chain. Some kind of nice leather details here. Some soft goods. Got a little bit of spikage around here on the side. Take it around back. One of his little dealy bobs there slipped off. This is cool. I don't know, first thoughts, he looks pretty impressive, pretty mean to me. Alright, let's check out some articulation here. Alright, I got all the accessories out of the way. Let's take a look at articulation on this guy. I'm pretty impressed so far. So first thing for his head, kind of looking straight on. Get a little bit of up. Little bit of down, some side to side. Kind of turns the head with him the way his neck is angled. I mean, if we see him from the side here, he can look up about that much, look down pretty good, and then the side to side is really more of like turning the head. But still, I think you can get some good looks out of that. And honestly, with the size of him and the figures he'll probably be displayed with, him looking down more than up, probably a good thing. I think he'll be looking down on most of your other figures he'll be with. The arms, the shoulders, can't quite get a full T-pose there, but they do go up pretty far. We got a bicep swivel. We have a single jointed elbow that gives us almost a 90, not quite a 90. These leather sleeves here are just slipped on. They're not attached to the forearm. In the wrists, we have a little bit of bend in the wrist. Here we go. Same on this side here. Pretty good bit of wrist mobility on this side. There are butterfly joints on the shoulders. We can kind of see that cut on the front, which does give us a pretty decent kind of his arms coming in. He can probably do a pretty decent two-handed weapons grab there, and that gives him the ability to open up about that wide. Pretty good, given his size. We do have a diaphragm cut here on the figure. We can see the back. That gives us a pretty good twist. And let's see if he's got a little bit of side to side there. Honestly, pretty good for a figure of his stature. Let's see what we got in a ab crunch. Not a whole lot in the way of an ab crunch, but a pretty decent extension back. I don't know if you can see that. So everything combined there, actually pretty good front and back articulation. And then in the hips, you get basically a full splits there. He is got a ball jointed hips, which I think gives that. There's not really a thigh cut the way I think of it conventionally, but there is a cut there, so we can get a twist on the entire leg. Because there's not a calf cut or like a boot cut here. It feels like these cuffs are also floated above the shin. They're not part of the sculpt. As far as a front kick, not too bad. Pretty good. And a back, I'd say that's pretty good. For as bulky as this figure is, I think his articulation's pretty impressive. And we have double jointed knees. That gives us like basically heel to butt type movement. That's pretty good. Pretty good mobility in that ankle, up and down. And then we have a pivot all the way around. So articulation, not that I do scores, would be like a 10, right? I guess that's giving a score. But pretty impressive. I honestly thought for how big he was, he wouldn't be moving like this. All right, let's get some accessories with him and see what he looks like in some poses. All right, and here we have a good 360 look at him with none of the accessories yet, just to get a better look at him here and some better lighting without my grubby hands in the way. I think the paint work, the wash, the sculpting, everything was just top tier. I mean, really phenomenal. I've been really enjoying getting into some of these... getting back into some of these 1/12 scale figures after spending so many years collecting 1/18 scale. It's just phenomenal looking character. All right, let's get I want to get his cloven feet on him and that axe in him and take a look. All right, real quick, I just wanted to show you about how to swap these. It's actually way more straightforward than I thought. So that foot's just going to pop off, and I didn't need any heat for the other one. It actually, well, doing it in front of the camera here, a little difficult. The other foot popped right off. There we go. And it's just that peg that went into the foot is going to go inside of there. That's it. And with this piece, even after you add in bending the knee and getting a little bend here, still adds about 3/4 of an inch in overall height to this figure. It's going to be pretty tall. All right, and here's the crasher with both those cloven feet installed. Got to repose his legs a little bit to keep him balanced, get a little bend in the knee, and then that forward kick to the ankle. But he's actually surprisingly well balanced like this. I thought he'd be kind of finicky, but even on this spinning display, it was very easy to get him posed. The first time I put him up there, he just kind of stayed. So it's good that the hooves are a little bit, they look a little small compared to the rest of his body, but they're apparently a big enough size to give a good solid footprint. But yeah, here he is with that axe in hand, swapped out his left hand for that open gesturing hand. And so far with the hand swaps, the feet slash cloven hoof swaps there, I haven't needed any heat to open up any of his joints, any of that stuff. Everything's been tight. I mean, like there's resistance, nothing's floppy, but nothing is so tight I feel like I'm going to break anything. I haven't felt like I needed to pop out a heat gun to get things moving. So I honestly like that quite a bit. I kind of hate having to break out a heat gun just to be able to move the figure around. So, I mean, part swap, that's another thing. I get that. But just being able to pose the figure, pretty nice. Just pop this guy out of package and start playing with him and posing him right away. He looks impressive. Very imposing to me, especially adding that extra 3/4 of an inch in height and that look. I didn't think there was anything odd about these kind of human style feet before. Um, but seeing them now, it does seem a little odd with the human feet. Although I suppose he would balance a little bit better with those. All right, and as we see him coming around, get a little bit more of a dynamic pose out of him. Can really envision him fighting somebody in a fight to the death or something, right? This guy's so cool. He, in person at least, I hope it's coming through, just feels very alive. He feels very dynamic. He feels very in motion. I guess that comes from the sculpt, the paint, but also this articulation. Get some really cool poses out of him. Looks like he's about to absolutely wallop some poor sucker. Feel bad for whoever that is. All right, as we come around, we see we can get a two-handed grip on that axe. Get a really nice back bend with that ab crunch, and the legs balances surprisingly well. I didn't really have any issues getting him to stand kind of in this hunched backward position. Really cool. Hides his face a little bit, but I love that kind of powerful overhead double-handed swing that you can get with this guy. That is such an awesome pose. It's kind of what I meant about it being dynamic, being in motion. I just feel kind of the potential energy there that's coming out. But either way, it looks like somebody's head's about to get cleaved in half. It's a little big for my setup here. It's hard to get the top of the axe, but it's an impressive sight. This guy's awesome. Can't wait to get him lined up for scale with some other figures. He's going to look great, I think, sitting amongst a lot of different lines. All right, I wanted to get one last pose in. Honestly, I cut out a few other ones. Thought I was done, but I just kept having fun, kept shooting different poses. But I wanted to show this real quick. His wrap on his right arm and that shoulder and forearm armor on his left, those just slide right off. Either one of those hands you pop off, you'll be able to get the armor off after that. And I wanted to show him with the armor that was on his horns and the armor that was on his arms, that taken off. Maybe show him with his mouth closed, a little bit more neutral at the ready stance. Some of my figures I like in these kind of poses too, just kind of very, very laid back, a little bit more stoic look to him. I think he looks great both. I think however you like to pose him, he'll look good in either way. But just wanted to show that pretty easy armor swaps. All right, first up here for scale comparisons, we have two Mythic Legions, a 1.0 and a 2.0 body. Pretty standard size figures for the line. I think they look really good in scale. He might be a little big, but I guess it depends on kind of how you headcanon him into your display. Definitely an impressive size figure for this line. Next up, two more Mythic Legions in a brute scale and an ogre scale. Both these figures I like a lot, and again, I think he would scale in with Mythic Legions pretty well. That's probably where he'll end up in my display, honestly, at least for now. Him being bigger than the ogre scale, I don't know. He might be a little bit he might be a little bit big for this line, but again, I guess it's how you headcanon him in. He is impressive. Extremely impressive with these figures. If you want him to be a big, beastly, bad guy, he definitely will fit that role. I'm blown away. I didn't really think he'd be bigger than an ogre here, but here we are. Yeah, it's looking awesome. All right, here we have him with Mythic Legions on the left. That's Arthur on his mount, and with one of the NECA D&D figures, Warduke, on the right. Just absolutely beautiful. Totally stunning. I mean, these the mounted figures I have for Mythic Legions kind of steal the show so far as far as their scale and presence on the shelf. The fact that he's sitting up there about chest height, shoulder height with Arthur on his mount, pretty crazy. And Warduke, he dwarfs a lot of other figures, and for this guy to be able to look down on the top of Warduke's helm there, be a bad dude for him. Pretty cool. All right, let's see him next to some spacemen, because that makes sense. Here he is between a couple other Cosmic Legions. They got Olek on the left and Ias on the right. That Olek is just, gotta say, is an amazing figure. He was my first Four Horsemen Studios figure. So my first Cosmic or Mythic or anything like that. So he holds a little bit of a special place. But when I bought him kind of on a whim, saw his detailing, the paint, everything, I knew I was all about it. Sorry, that's kind of an aside. It has nothing to do with Kasos here, but every time I see Olek, I just gotta admire the quality there. It's kind of what kicked off this new 1/12 kick for me, though. So yeah, if you like to have him in space and you want to make up some headcanon, go for it. I think he looks cool with him. All right, and the last two Four Horsemen figures here, we have some more Cosmic Legions. One of the Ogre scales on the right, Kragnar, and a Brute scale and that Sphyxie in there on the left. Looks really good here, honestly. I think the scale fits in really nice. All right, and last comparison here. One I kind of forgot about, Savage Crucible on the right, Como of the Isles. I think that's a worthwhile comparison because he might be mixed in there with some of my Savage Crucible, which, to be fair, is mixed in with my Mythic Legions at the moment. But I mentioned him earlier, and I thought I should bring him out, which is this Diamond Select Juggernaut figure. He's been one of the bigger, beefier boys on my shelf up until now. And he's still got some girth and some weight on Kasos here, but height-wise, Kasos got him beat, and I don't know. Doesn't look like it would be maybe a fair fight still, but might give him a run for his money. This is a big boy, that's for sure. Some final thoughts on this XesRay figure from Combatants Fight for Glory. Kasos the Crasher. I really like him. I really, really like him quite a bit. I can't think of anything negative or any frustrations I had with him really trying to pose him. If anything, maybe that his hands once or twice kind of popped off while just trying to get poses. But really, that's not the end of the world. I'd rather have that than joints that are too tight or require heat for any kind of movement. So if that's the trade-off, then I'm willing to make it. But other than that, his posability, the sculpt, the paint, everything's amazing. Accessories-wise, I guess maybe a little weak, but does come with 3 full sets of hands, and then the one really awesome axe. So I think it's kind of a win-win with the figure. Now, price-wise, he is up there. I think he retails somewhere around $90, maybe plus or minus a few. I was able to pick him up on Amazon for a Black Friday deal for around $60. So for that price point, I don't know that you could beat him. If he was just retailing at $60, I would say everybody and their brother should go buy one. Being up at $90, I guess that's a decision for you to make. I don't talk about pricing too much, but man, if you find a figure on sale like that, I think it's hard to pass up. And if you could find him for a price like that, maybe even secondhand, I think he's stunning. Absolutely beautiful. He has such a great shelf presence, so much posability, a lot of potential with this guy. I am looking forward to doing a little hunting for some more XesRay figures in the future. So yeah, that's about it. Thank you so much, and have a good one.